focus on the need to continue delivering reliably in a diversified way, in an affordable way, oil and natural gas resources, even as the world develops not only renewables, but looks forward to hydrogen. So we're going to focus on all these topics in this, our opening plenary session. And I'd like to ask to begin that Minister of Oil and Gas, Minister of Energy in Kazakhstan, Minister Bolat Akchulakov, delivers his welcoming remarks. Mr. Minister.
Қайырлы күн, құрметті Киоги конференциясына қатысушылар. Dear conference participants, I'm glad to welcome you to the 28th Kazakhstan International Oil and Gas Exhibition and Conference, Kyogi 2022. Since its foundation in 1993, Kyogi has been established as a respectable platform, allowing professionals to discuss major events in the oil and gas industry of Kazakhstan and the entire Caspian region. During the 28 years of Kyogi, over 19,000 international delegates have taken part in the conference. It's important to maintain a dialogue platform that promotes the development of new approaches and discovers new solutions for the oil and gas sector in today's uncertain conditions. Today, we're talking about new scenarios for the development of oil and gas industry in Kazakhstan. We know that the oil and gas sector is of the key importance in building up the economic potential of our country. We are one of the world leaders in oil reserves and production. Today, in terms of proven oil reserves, Kazakhstan is among the 15th leading countries in the world, processing 3% of the world's oil reserves. Over 30 years, oil production in Kazakhstan has increased by almost 3.5 times, from 26.6 million tons in 1991 to 90.5 million tons in 2019. The volume of oil exports increased approximately 6 times. According to OPEC, Kazakhstan enters the top 10 oil exporting countries. Due to favorable investment climate, the world's largest oil corporations from Europe, China, Russia, and the US operate in Kazakhstan for many years. In addition, over the years of independence, the volume of foreign direct investment in the industry amounted to more than $200 billion. Today, we are improving our own legislative framework in the field of subsoil use in order to create favorable conditions for attracting new investments. Currently, we are finalizing legislative changes necessary for the introduction of an improved model contract. It provides for regulatory and fiscal preferences in the form of tax exemptions. The implemented reform will facilitate the investment climate in the field of subsoil use, in particular in the exploration of hydrocarbons. In addition, one of the priorities for the development of the country's energy industry is the petrochemical industry. The ministry has developed a mechanism for a special investment agreement for large petrochemical complexes on the principle of one document. In the Atyrau region, one of the largest polypropylene production facilities in the world, top 10, with a capacity of 500,000 tons per year, has been launched recently. In 2024, there are the plans to complete the construction of oil and gas processing plant in the Atyrau region based on raw materials from the Kashagan field with a capacity of 1 billion cubic meters of raw gas, and the methanol production plant in the West Kazakhstan region with a capacity of 130,000 tons per year. In addition, projects for the production of polyethylene with a capacity of 1.2 million tons per year and butadiene with a capacity of 186,000 tons. As part of the implementation of these projects, about $14 billion of investments will be attracted and more than 14,000 jobs will be created by 2025. In addition, I would like to note that we are following the course of a gradual energy transition and phased decarbonization of the oil and gas sector. We pay special attention to the development of renewable energy sources, the conversion of coal-fired stations to gas, the development of gas fields and gas processing, petrochemicals and hydrogen energy. These are the main areas that we will actively develop in the near future. In accordance with the approved concept for the transition of Kazakhstan to a green economy by 2030, the share of renewable energy should reach at least 15% of the total electricity generation, and by 2050, this figure should reach 50%. Since 2018, Kazakhstan has been used an open mechanism for international auctions. For the period from 2018 to 2021, auctions held in electronic format for renewable energy projects with a total capacity of 1.7 gigawatt. 196 companies from 12 countries of the world took part in the auction. Within 4 years, it's planned to commission 59 projects and large-scale projects with a capacity of 1,400 megawatts. I would also like to note the role of hydrogen energy as one of the promising areas for the further development of the energy industry in Kazakhstan. We are currently conducting research in 3 areas: hydrogen production, transportation and storage of hydrogen, converting hydrogen into electricity. Renewable energy source will serve as an external source for the production of hydrogen by electrolysis in the study, which is in line with the development global concept of green hydrogen. Dear conference participants, it's important to maintain a constructive and balanced dialogue with all interested parties. Our country puts the international principles of cooperation in the energy sector at the forefront and seeks to strengthen global energy security. We strive to further develop and strengthen mutually beneficial relations to create and maintain favorable conditions for the development of the energy industry. I am certain that the Kyogi conference, by tradition, this year will also become an excellent platform for interaction between key representatives of oil and gas sector. Let me once again congratulate all of you, colleagues, on the opening of the exhibition and conference Kyogi 2022, and wish each of you productive work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. You gave us an absolutely comprehensive and strategic outline of Kazakhstan's plans for attracting investment through regulatory reforms, through taxation reforms. You described how Kazakhstan's energy investment strategy is focusing on the energy transition, looking to hydrogen, also development of polypropylene, methanol, polyethylene manufacturing to use natural gas. It's a comprehensive strategy, and we could probably talk about it for months. Is there anything you might like to add about the investment side? Because all of this is going to require the same sort of successful, I would guess, international investment that Kazakhstan has shown for all these years, since the early 1990s. Could you say a bit more about the attracting investment?
Yeah, that's, as I mentioned in my speech, that is one of the priority to how to attract the more investment into the oil and gas sector. We recognize that oil and gas sector is not something like previously in history. It's not just oil for oil or oil for fuel. So that's, that we are following this transition period ideas and green economy ideas. But in any case, that, for example, petrochemical, why I mentioned petrochemical, and only one feedstock now, more useful feedstock for that, it's hydrocarbons. And that I think it's the coming future for oil and gas sector. It's a wide development of petrochemical industry from first point of view. And secondly, that, the transition period, we couldn't do that within the 1 day or 1 year. So that is a quite long way, but we have to follow all the previous commitments we made for the green economy. It's not only renewable energy, but it's also the transition, how to substitute coal by gas, natural gas, or how to develop, for example, the nuclear energy as well. Because that unfortunately gas reserves and deposits around the world and also in Kazakhstan, it's quite limited. And in case of Kazakhstan, most of our gas is associated gas. That means from that point of view, we need to be very careful and how to identify the most important areas to substitute and think about how can we use and handle all existing resources, fuel, and the feedstock as a fossils, to depress on the environmental issues. And we also know that for all of these actions, we need to improve our climate as an investment climate, how to attract the investment. That's why I mentioned about improved model contract for the hydrocarbon, which can be awarded for 25 up to 40 years as usual, but with a new format, with a new frame, which is less pressure of bureaucracy, more easy, one document, one single, we call it like one window principles to award, I mean, and to talk. And also it's a number and huge number of tax exemptions, which can be provided, with also less requirement for the local delivery as well, and possibly to eliminate all, for example, export duties as well from Kazakhstan, how to support our exporters, how to deliver this oil and gas to the external markets. That is a number of, it's highlights, but it's quite more complicated documents, and now it's under revision and discussion within the parliament now. And that's why it was previously the huge work done among government authorities and our existing investors, like companies like Total, Chevron, ENI, all the companies, China and Russia. So that's some kind of the result of this long way working process. That is the highlights.
That's a lot of highlights, and the strategic building blocks, as we were saying, are in place, and it's quite impressive. I mean, we all travel around to all sorts of countries, and you know, what strikes me about your presentation and your remarks is how systematic your thinking seems to be, which is the only way you can ultimately execute, is thinking in such a systematic and strategic way. So thank you. So speaking of